Hey, what's good, y'all? Welcome back to the 100K challenge. Today, you can see I took an L, $600 L. I'm gonna just be going over this trade. So it was an A plus setup. I stuck to my 15-minute setup for this one. So if I can just draw structure, we had this high, lower low, and then we started consolidating within this range. Within this between this high and this low, we just started consolidating, and then I was looking for price to come up and test this 15-minute supply zone, but we failed to raise that high. We ended up dropping, and so after this huge drop, I put a new supply zone, which is this one right here. I'm gonna drag it out. So I was waiting for a retest of that. So I got the retest. Um, Entered on the 5 minute time frame after price wicked up, failed to break. I got in off the break of the candle, and it only went for a 1-to-1. Uh, but my entry was a little late, so for me, it wasn't a 1-to-1. If it was a 1-to-1 for me, I would have went break even. But it wasn't a 1-to-1 with my specific entry. But regardless, I was going for a 1-to-2 right here, and didn't reach it. And so, one thing with this trade that I've been noting the past trading days was that the times that I take the trade. So I do trade from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. And so 6 a.m. is here, and it's just past 10 a.m. 10 a.m. right here. So I ended up taking this trade around 8:50, 8:45, somewhere around there. And so when I look back at my trading journal, I don't think I've had one trade that has won that I placed after like 7:30. Usually all my winning trades come like 90%, 95% of my winning trades come between 6 a.m. and 7 a.m. And then I have a few trades that I place after 7 a.m., but it's usually before 7:30 because that's usually news hits around 7:30 CST time, and so I usually try to place a trade before that, and then try to let my trade run or whatever, just in case news starts acting crazy. I can either get out the trade or my trade already hit profit. Um, I placed a few trades after 7:30. They may have won, maybe I don't know, once or twice. It's not really much though, but most of them, probably 90% of them, 99 probably percent of my trades after 7:30 has lost. So I've been thinking about narrowing down my trading hours between 6 a.m., which is right here, and then 7:30, which is here. So if I would have done that, I just would obviously I would have been limited to being able to potentially catch anything over here or even this big drop, even though that didn't, go with my plan necessarily. Um, I would have ended the day with just nothing, and that's better than taking the L and just looking at past data. If between 6 a.m. and 7:30 a.m., that's where I win like 95% of my trades, 99% of my trades. Like I ain't do like the specific stats, but it's in the 90s because I just like was reviewing it and looking at all the times and looking at all my wins, and all of my wins, all of my wins from the past, I say month or two, has been between 6 a.m. and 7:30. I probably had some wins, on a separate trading journal that I had that wasn't within this month or two. That was after 7:30, but all my recent data has been before 7:30. So what I'm going to do today, I'm gonna be back testing on ES since it's the only thing I trade. I'm gonna be back testing like the past 3 months, and I'm gonna go through and look at all my A plus setups that I can find within the past 3 months, and I'm going to just jot down how many days do I win and how many days do I lose if I keep my trade in between 6 a.m. and 7:30, and anything outside of 7:30, I'm not going to be messing with it. So I'm gonna try to narrow down my trading times, and hopefully by doing that, I can just uh, not even worry about anything after 7:30 and have less losses and up my win rate, because all my trades after 7:30 are L's. And so yeah, so that's what I'm gonna be doing today. But yeah, this is the trade. I lost about 600, 620, somewhere around there. This was an A+ setup, but like I said, it was after my most comfortable trading hours. I like to trade within this hour. I don't really like all of this volatility. Like, you just look at these candles, the size of them, and then look at these, like, they huge. And so, compared to what I'm used to, and what I'm more comfortable with, and where I get most of my wins at, is usually within this range at pre-market. And then, after that, especially after that 8:30, which is like 9:30 for the East Coast or whatever. This is that 8:30 open where it's super volatile and all that stuff, and that's where I don't really like to play with. I like to stay in the pre-market where it's low volatility, but for me the moves are clearer, and then I go off of London sessions structure, and I base my entries off of that. I use the highs and lows on the 1 hour, 4 hour, and also when I drop down to the 15-minute time frame, I use the structure in London. And then usually during pre-market New York, it usually plays out with London session structure, and that's usually where I find most of my entries at. So that's why you sometimes I place an entry that be like 6 a.m. or like 6:05, 6:10. That's because my strategy, my setup already played out like in London, and then soon 6 a.m. hit. That's when my entry shows up, and then so I can instantly enter soon as my session starts. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it even happens around like 5:50, 5:55. I usually don't catch those. I have caught them before, but recently I haven't caught those at all. I usually just stick to my 6 a.m. But if I do find an entry that looks real good at around like 5:55, 5:58 or something like that, when it's just finna hit 6 a.m., I'll either enter right then and there and accept the risk, or I'll wait for like uh, the 5 minute or something to pull back after 6 a.m. Hits, and I wait for a pullback to get to get the same entry I would have gotten if I didn't wait for the 6 a.m. So that's usually what I do. So, anyways, I'm gonna go on, get the back testing, upload this video, and yeah, hopefully we can find a good A+ setup tomorrow. I'll let y'all know tomorrow what I'm gonna do. Stick to 6 a.m. between 6 and 7:30, or am I gonna keep it to 6 and 10, or maybe even trade like after 8:30. You know what I'm saying? I know most people do that when they trade New York and scalping, but I'm just back testing, see what I'm gonna do, see what's most optimal for my strategy, so I can maximize my win rate and minimize my losses. So yeah, thank y'all for watching. Like, subscribe, comment if you have any questions, and I'll see y'all tomorrow.